Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Pete's Pizza's two Niagara Falls locations. Pete's Pizza and Video, 6864 Lundy's Lane. In Niagara Falls, call 374-1234. And 4914 Victoria Avenue, 374-2222. That's 374-2222.
Good evening and welcome to A.N. Myer Secondary School in Niagara Falls as McLean Hunter brings you the high school game of the week, senior boys basketball. The A.N. Myer Marauders host the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. I'm Jim Gould, joined by Jack Chambers for the call of the game. These two teams, of course, well known to each other and always play great basketball.
1-1 on the season, Jim. This is the rubber match. Both teams have won a game, both by about 4 or 5 points. This should be a good ball game, and it means an awful lot in terms of getting ready for the playoffs.
Opening tip, Dave Scremin wins it from Jeff Moscato. The Marauders open up with the ball. Darren Newton from about 10 feet banks it off the back of the rim. Out of bounds, last touched by the Irish. Myer ball.
Viewers should keep an eye on number 32 in the purple for Myer, Rich Stefanovic. He did just such a great job in the game at Notre Dame, almost single-handedly in the fourth quarter, taking the game over.
Stefanovic looked at the three. Brought it back. Now Stockton will put up a three. Nothing but net. The Marauders open up with a 3-0 lead.
Good offense by Myer. They took their time. They were patient, moved around until they got what they want.
Good move down by low by Todd Upper, blocked by Scremin.
Moscato coming right in to finish up the shot for the easy two.
Stefanovic works it down low to Newton off the rim. Policello was in there banging at the loose ball. Moscato got a hand on it. A few players touch it, and Mark Ventresca comes away for the Irish. Moscato from the foul line, blocked by Scremin. He got a piece. Newton pulls it down.
One of the important things in basketball, of course, is making good decisions. That was not a good decision by Jeff Moscato, trying to put the ball up from three over the much taller man.
Stefanovic misses from just inside the three-point line. The Irish come down the floor quickly. Marcio up to Ventresca. He missed the basket but was fouled, and he'll go to the line. Mark Ventresca in our last high school game of the week, of course, the 40th Annual Tribune Tournament Basketball Championship game, was ineffective. He'll probably be looking to try and pick up a few more points and be a little more productive for the Irish offense tonight.
One thing that's happened, of course, since the last time we were at the Tribune Tournament is both teams have been taken off for about a couple of weeks now to write their exams at semester break. So both teams are going to be a little bit rusty. It's hard to say how the shooting is going to be tonight.
Ventresca hits on 1 of 2. It's a 3-3 tie. 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Stefanovic long range. That's off the front of the rim. Policello grabs the loose ball. Marcio travels just as he crosses mid-court. A turnover for the Irish. Myer ball.
And that's that sign of rustiness, a little off rhythm in your game. Jeff Moscato's out of the ball game. Harry Plass, number 59, is in, and looks like Coach Ralph Neer was going to try and work both people on Scremmins.
The Marauders work it down low to Darren Newton. He banks in the easy basket, a 5-3 Myer lead. The Irish back the other way. Marcio.
Guess Marcio almost threw that ball away at midcourt. Getting good pressure from number 22.
Policello for three. The Marauders, or check that, Irish now take the lead at 6-5. Stefanovic drives baseline. Shot doesn't go, but a foul on the play. Todd Upper gets called.
We've talked all year about the tremendous front line of Stefanovic, Newton, and Scremmins, and the great size advantage they have underneath the boards. And We saw that in action in that last sequence.
Stefanovic bricks the first one. Both Rich Stefanovic and Darren Newton, the two forwards, committed 6'4". Dave Scremin, the center, 6'9". So some big size for the Marauders up front. Todd Upper and Vince Policello, the only two players that compare with the Irish. They're both at 6'4", Moscato 6'5", but nobody to battle Scremin down low.
And Newton just goes off the court. On comes Trevor Brown, number 45, and he's still up there with the same size as Policello at Notre Dame.
Scremin called for the charge.
Something that's Myer doing more and more that we didn't see earlier in the year, and that's not unusual for any team to get better, put in new things. But Myer's showing an awful lot more full court pressure than they did earlier in the season.
6-5, Notre Dame leads A&M Myer early on here in the first quarter. Stefanovic called for the travel.
That's second travel turnover in a row for Myer. Very unusual for their kind of play. Again, a sign that they are on the rusty side too after the exam break.
Just a note there, you see our new scoreboard that's been brought in by the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. We'd like to welcome Pete's Pizza aboard as a sponsor of the Game of the Week. Back down the other way, the Irish turn the ball over. Stefanovic will drive right by Policello. His shot won't fall, and Moscato pulls away the rebound.
Good pass by O'Leary.
Chance at the three-point play for Policello as O'Leary dished to him just in time. Vince banks in the basket and will go to the line to shoot that possible third.
And we saw Pat O'Leary emerging as very much of a strong factor for the Irish in the Tribune tournament. He played just a super defensive basketball game, gaining more confidence as the year goes on. He always was a good shooter, and now his defensive plays coming up, his overall game's improved. He's going to be very much of a factor for the Irish down the stretch.
Newton and Matt Hancock back into the game for the Marauders. Stefanovic and Ryan Sills will take a break.
Policello for another three from the outside.
He's now got 8 in the game, and it's an 11-5 Notre Dame lead. Brown, long range.
Presti made a run at Brown, and just enough to throw him off.
He misfires. O'Leary back the other way. Policello drives past Newton, tries to go past Scremin.
I was talking to Coach Ralph Nero before the game, and he was saying that one thing that they were trying to work on is to get the Notre Dame team to take the ball more to the hoop, that they were developing a tendency to stand around, look for the threes. We've already seen that tendency in this game as the Irish are taking the ball more and more to the hole, forcing Myer to be better defensive players.
Policello hits both. He's now got 10. 13-5 Notre Dame. Todd Upper checks back into the lineup for the Irish. Emilio Presti over to the bench. Marauders looking to get back into this game.
And normally in a basketball game, we'd say that the Myers had an awful lot of problems being down 8 points, because we keep talking about 7 being a big factor. But we have seen this kind of a thing, Jim, all year, where Notre Dame's taken the lead in the first quarter, second quarter, Myer comes back, even it up, and it goes back and forth like that. Ends up being a real run to the wire in the fourth quarter.
Stockton's long-range 3 went off the rim. Last touched by Gus Marcio out of bounds. The Marauders have the ball on the end, and Chris Kuhn gets the ball. His first touch as he just comes into the game.
Irish in a 2-3 zone and the ball out of bounds.
Dave Scremin will take a rest on the bench. Kuhn will work down low for the Marauders. Newton from outside, that's off the rim. Last touch by Moscato. Myer will continue to hang on to the ball.
Quite often we see the Notre Dame players with their hands down low when the ball's coming off. They're not ready to get it. That's happened 2 or 3 times in this quarter already.
Marauders turn it over. Marcio comes away with it. Quick pass to O'Leary. His shot won't fall. Moscato's there for the follow. 15-5 Notre Dame. 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
Again, we saw O'Leary taking the ball, not hesitating and taking it hard to the hole.
Hancock off the back of the rim, grabs his own loose ball. He made the touch, but was interfered with by Policella as he went out of bounds. Myer continues to hang on. Newton will inbound.
And referee Barry Campbell called the foul on, I think it was Policella. I'm not too sure on that. Referees for tonight's game, Gary Ranco and Barry Campbell, two experienced officials.
Newton works through traffic, just blew through 3 players. Got the easy basket and drew the foul. Newton converts the 3-point play. He's now got 5 in the game. 15-8 Notre Dame. Moscato back the other way. Newton went up for the block, and he'll get called.
You know, this game seems like there are an awful lot of fouls in it, but in fact, Irish only have 3, and Myer has 3 or 4. It's not really been that many fouls in the game. The thing that's sort of made it sloppy and doesn't have a flow or a rhythm is the fact that both teams are committing an awful lot of turnovers. Seen an awful lot of travels, balls going off hands, out of bounds, that kind of thing. There's not really a rhythm to this basketball game yet.
A little exam rust, maybe?
I think that's really what it is, and it might take them into the second half before they start getting the cobwebs out.
Moscato hits 1 of 2. 16-8 Notre Dame. Work it down low to Newton. He'll bank it in off the glass. Darren Newton now has 7.
Myers starting to take the ball now to the inside. Before they were throwing up an awful lot of outside shots and not hitting very many. Now they're putting it back to the inside.
Marcio cuts through the defense, but he can't convert. Back the other way come the Marauders. Newton tried to dish into the middle. Ventresca there to pick it off. He'll bring it back the other way. He has his pocket picked by Hancock, but regains possession. Now the Irish throw it away. Newton backed away for Myer. Darren Newton finally ends that flurry with 2 points. It's now 16-12.
Very sloppy ball, though, at midcourt. The ball's going off of everybody out there.
Policella works in the middle. His shot won't fall. Last touched by the Irish. Myer ball on the end. 1.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter, and Myers pulled themselves back into it, trailing by 4, 16-12.
Yeah, 30 seconds ago they were up by, Irish were up by 8. It's now 4. And this is the kind of game that we've seen Notre Dame and Myer play all year, back and forth, up and down. And this is probably how it'll go for the rest of the ball game. But right now, neither team has any momentum. They're just out there playing right now.
Newton for 3. That's off the front of the rim. Policella grabs the rebound.
Notre Dame has their flex offense up very, very high.
Shot by Presti just inside the 3-point line. Clangs off the rim. Under a minute to play, the Marauders trailing by 4. Dave Stockton took it into the lane and then dished off, but was fouled before the pass.
Gus Marshall on the hands.
That'll do it for Gus right now as he heads over to the bench. Pat O'Leary into the game for the Irish. O'Leary, Ventresca, Policella, Harry Plass, and Emilio Presti on the floor for the Irish. Chris Kuhn, Dave Stockton, Rich Stefanovich, Darren Newton, and Matt Hancock on the floor for the Marauders. Stefanovich from about 4 feet. Nice little floater. Cuts the lead to 2. 30 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Myer continuing to pressure the Irish.
Clock down to 13 seconds now.
playing for last shot.
8.
Policella tries to work off the screen, drive the baseline, blocked by Stefanovic with 2.9 seconds left. And I think Stefanovic will get called for a foul there, but a nice block all the same.
And well executed by the Irish. Worked the ball down, then they took it right to the hole, hoping either to get the basket or almost as good in that situation, drawing the foul, especially on a player like Stefanovic. Although that's only his first foul I have, Jim.
Policella misses both. Myer comes away with a loose ball. Stockton with a last chance shot. It's off the glass. Ventresca missed the backboard. Had a chance at it. Got the shot off. 16-14 after one quarter. The Irish came out great guns early and took a big lead, but Darren Newton and his 9 points have pulled the Marauders right back into it. They trail by 2.
We'll take a look here. We'll see the Irish moving their flex way out above the foul line. And then with about 3 seconds to go, we see Policella taking it right to the hole and takes it up there, and he just forces Stefanovic to come up on it. Stefanovic got way up on the ball, but did get armed.
Looked like a good block when you first saw it, but you see there on the replay, he did get a piece of the body.
Yeah, he was pretty well lined up on him from about knees right up to wrist. But both players getting high up in the air, and that's good basketball. For the Irish, Policella, again, the big scorer. I've got him at 10, and
Moscato has 5. Ventresca with the lone foul shot for the other point. That'll account for Notre Dame 16. We mentioned Darren Newton with 9. Dave Stockton drained to 3, and Stefanovic is 2. That'll account for the scoring for the Marauders, 16-14.
And where the Irish were hitting a couple of outside shots, Myer didn't have too much luck from the outside. Myer taking advantage of their size for most of their points. Good job by Newton taking the ball to the hole. Stefanovic is yet to get on track, and we haven't seen really that much of Scremmins in the whole first quarter. He started, but he's getting a lot of seat time.
Sat down with about 3-4 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Chris Kuhn come in, has done an excellent job, and the Marauders have capitalized, gaining their opportunities and cutting the lead down to 2.
Myers a much quicker team, of course, when Scremmins is not in there. They give up some height, but they have the speed, and so they're better able to play man-to-man. Earlier in the game, Moscato was getting open underneath quite often.
Marcio just inside the 3-point line. His first 2 points of the game.
And although he's only in grade 10, we've mentioned that several times during the season. The fact of the matter is Gus Marshall has now put in a year of senior ball, and he's got to step up. He's a very young veteran at this stage of the game, and will be counted on to do some big things in the stretch. Myers being much more patient now, looking to get the ball down inside. There it is.
They get it down low to Kuhn, and he turns it over. Ventresca comes away with a loose ball. Up the floor for Policella. He drives on Stockton, and they call the block on Dave Stockton. Vince Policella is going to go to the line.
That was one of those calls that can go either way. Coach Bob Cool isn't too pleased in that, but there's always an argument on that call. Referee Gary Ranko saw it one way. But good things always happen when you take the ball to the basket. You're either going to score or else you're going to draw a foul. Something will always happen.
The Irish get the ball on the end line, and Policella comes out of the game. Emilio Presti in to replace him as Kuhn tips it away from Moscato, but Moscato gets the loose ball, tips it to Ventresca. He flipped it over to Upper, and Upper tried to take it to the hole, but was called for a foul underneath the basket, turned the ball over to the Marauders.
Good job by Newton. I think he is thinking Academy Award time. He did a good job, went down in a hurry. There wasn't that much contact, but again, the call this time went against Myer earlier, and there it goes against Notre Dame.
Kuhn draws a crowd, dishes off to Hancock for three, no good. Dave Stockton comes away with a loose ball.
If Irish have a consistent weakness in their game, it's the fact they don't block out, and quite often there's sloppy rebounds that go to the other team.
Stockton's three pulled down by Moscato.
Irish still run their flex, taking their time, but they are not taking the ball to the hole. They're just passing the ball around the perimeter.
And Myers playing some pretty good defense, not giving them a lot of opportunities.
But you've got to challenge people. You got to take it to the inside, and that's
There's a turnover. Stockton fouled on the way up by Ventresca.
Now it's a case of the Irish staying on the outside defensively, just passing it around. Nothing happens when you're just moving the ball on the outside. We saw that kind of play in the finals of the Tribune Tournament, Jim, and when they were playing St. Catherine's Collegiate. They got to the point where they were almost paralyzed, just passing it on the outside, looking only for the outside shot. You've got to be a threat, taking the ball to the hole.
Stefanovic out of the game for Myer. Dave Scremin back in, so the Marauders come back with some size. Played almost 3 minutes of the second quarter and the only 2 points. Gus Marchio's 2-point basket.
And one by Stockton there, and the sloppiness of the game is still hanging over with us.
Each team having scored 2 points in just under 3 minutes. Stockton with 2 for the Marauders, Marchio with 2 for the Irish.
Right now in this quarter is being characterized by quickness of Myer, a little more hustle on Myer's part. Irish playing almost defensively with the basketball.
Harry Plass from just inside the 3-point line, counted for a 2, 20-16 Notre Dame. Newton splits the defense and hits one from in the paint.
Newton's being very effective with that 8-footer in tonight's game. Getting the ball, one bounce by his man, penetrating, hitting that little 8-footer. Good move.
Emilio Presti, same spot, the other end of the floor, that his won't go. And the Marauders bring it back the other way, chance to tie or take the lead. Ryan Sills tries to work it down low to Scremin. Ventresca picks it off, back the other way. Pass for O'Leary in his hip. Another turnover for Notre Dame. Myer back the other way. Stockton looked at the three, had his pass tipped by Ventresca. He comes up with a loose ball. And the Marauders do a good job working the ball around. Newton misses, has it down low. Fouled while he was on the floor.
I think he got Emilio Presti, number 32, on that one.
Newton will go to the line as the Marauders are in the bonus. 3:48 remaining in the first half, 20-18 Notre Dame.
Next foul on Myer will put the Irish on the line.
Gus Marchio thought it was last touched by A.N. Myer.
5 or 6 times in this half we've seen the ball go off Irish hands out of bounds in their end. Not quite sharp and quick enough to get the loose ball.
Stockton for 3. Dave Stockton hits his second 3 of the game. He's now got 8, and the Marauders now have a lead at 21-20.
And I think that's the first time they've had the lead, except for very early in the ball game.
Emilio Presti steps on the sideline. The Irish turn it over once again. 3:14 remaining in the first half, 21-20 Myer.
Coach Ralph Nero and Coach Mike Vicari are not too pleased at what they're seeing out there in the Irish. A very sloppy basketball team, not aggressive at all. And Myer, much to their credit, has been working very hard, man-to-man. They've been making the turnovers, they've been making the mistakes, but they're a much more aggressive, quick team at this stage of the game.
The Myer seniors lead at 21-20. This is the third game of a triple bill this afternoon here at A.N. Myer Secondary School. The midget game right after school this afternoon. The Marauders coming away with a 4-point win. The junior game, which concluded just before this one began, the junior Myer Marauders also winning 46-37. The seniors looking to complete the sweep.
And I think the last time they played at Notre Dame, Myer had the sweep, if I'm not mistaken. Myer always has an excellent basketball program. Any team that comes into this gym at Myer has always got a tough go at it. That's been true right from the beginning of this school. A couple of things that are different about this gymnasium. We see it's actually 3 gymnasiums that are laid side by side, and the basketball court goes down the middle of the 3 of them. So there's a big, long, deep baseline area here, and sometimes teams coming in find it difficult to get some depth perception. But that hasn't been the case at all for Notre Dame. They've been hitting reasonably well from outside in this game.
Stockton for 3. He drains his third.
As has Stockton. Here's
now the Irish turn it over. Newton comes up with it.
Myer's just quicker and more hustle at this stage of the ball game. Irish are sitting there now in a zone.
Work it down low to Scremin. The pass from Newton. Scremin hits the nice turnaround hook. 26-20 A.N. Myer.
For Scremin's a big man. That's his first 2 of the night. If he gets it in gear, Irish are in an awful lot of trouble because Newton's having a great basketball game. And Myer, as we said repeatedly, are the quicker team tonight.
Moscato drove on Sills, and I believe Sills is going to get called for the foul.
Now put Moscato on the line for a couple.
Pat O'Leary into the game for the Irish. Gus Marcio on the bench.
We noticed this before. When Scremmins was covering Moscato earlier in the ball game, Moscato was taking it to the hole because he's a little bit quicker than the bigger man Scremmins.
Moscato hits 1 of 2. Myer back the other way. Sills works baseline on Moscato. Shot won't fall. Scremin had a chance at it. Upper tried to knock it out of bounds off a Myer player, but his foot was on the line, so the Marauders will have it on the end. Newton to inbound.
For about the 8th time, Myer will take it there in that situation. Myer generally doesn't look to run out of bounds plays right directly to the basket in an aggressive manner like that. They usually swing it around the other side and then hitting the inside, hoping to get Scremin sneaking in from the baseline.
Tried to work it inside to Scremin. Moscato came over the back. Dave Scremin on the line.
Myers now opened up a 6-point lead, so over the course of a half, Jim, that's a 14-point swing. Irish had it by 8 at one point.
At one point, it was 16-8 Notre Dame. 28-21 A.N. Myer, a minute 40 remaining in the first half.
We've seen this pattern repeated time and time again as these 2 teams have played. Irish come out, have a good first quarter, very sloppy, lackadaisical second quarter.
Policella along the baseline. It's a dozen now for Vince. Stockton back the other way with a 3. Rebound all the way out to Ventresca. He'll throw it up for O'Leary. And he banks one in off the glass. So with a minute left in the first half, the Irish have now cut that 6-point lead down to 3. Newton right over the rim.
Scremmers reached in, a rather foolish foul, just reached right in behind, grabbed him. That'll put Policello on the line.
We talked earlier about the size of Dave Scremmen and how he can use it effectively. You just saw the tail end of it there, that nice little jump hook that he used from down low.
Once he gets the ball in there and is back to the hoop, he's really tough. Irish just don't have anybody that can compete with him on the inside like that. Irish have got it now within 2, with Policello looking to bring it to 1. He does.
Policello with 14. It's 28-27 Myer. Under a minute left to play. Stockton bringing the ball up the floor for the Marauders.
And Leary's playing them head-to-head right up there in the middle. Leary is rapidly becoming a stopper from Notre Dame, but he got hands on him that time.
Stockton got around him, and O'Leary got a grab. 31 seconds remaining in the first half. Stockton on the line.
Stockton's had a good quarter here in the second quarter, hitting a couple of threes, hitting a couple of foul shots. Looking for a chance to pair it up here. Put Myer up by 3.
Stockton hits both. He's come alive in this second quarter. Now has 13 on the game.
This is an area where the rust starts to show in a team where you take a good chance trying to run clock down and you end up with making turnover. Last time Policello ended up taking it with about 3 seconds to go and was fouled.
Policello plays for last shot, puts it up with about 4 seconds. Kuhn grabs the rebound and gets fouled with 1.9 seconds left on the clock.
Not exactly what Coach Nero had in mind. That'll put somebody on the line. I think that was Upper that reached in. And I've got Upper at 3 fouls.
Harry Plass getting called there. So with 1.9 seconds left on the clock, Chris Kuhn with a chance for a couple of foul shots. The Irish had hoped to cut the lead to 1. Now they may be looking at a 4 to 5 point deficit heading into the second half. Nope, they miss. Policello comes away with a loose ball and does nothing as time expires on the first half. We'll take another look at that foul underneath the basket.
There's Policello going up with the shot.
He bricks it. Kuhn comes away with the ball. And they call it was exactly Harry Plass over the back. Upper involved, but he was on the front.
And that, from an Irish viewpoint, is a good foul that Plass takes it, because that's only his first, and they don't want to have anybody, never mind Upper, with 3 fouls going in against this Myer team for the second half.
When we return, second half action after 1 half, the Myer Marauders battle back to take a 3-point lead. They lead at 30 to 27 here on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. We're back with second half action right after this.
The Minnesota Vikings, are they a surprise?
Not to me, no.
I didn't figure they would be.
Not to me.
An expert in football like you.
Well, thank you very much. It's about time you start realizing that.
I think they should just gift wrap it right now and give him the title. He can look just amazing one week and then like a complete bum the next.
There's no argument.
Not bloody likely. With these 4, inside the locker room, only on 10.
I went through quite a bit of rejection in the job market. I think that my self-esteem was affected severely.
One problem can set us up for something even worse.
I would sit and I would drink, and I would cry.
Learning, solving problems, finding the help we need. Prevention is using our own resources to take action.
Business Against Drugs is a partnership of leading Alberta businesses committed to reducing and preventing drug abuse in our community.
Welcome back to the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. Second half action just underway as the A and Myer Marauders host the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Myer with a 30-27 lead after one half of play. And Jim Gould joined by Jack Chambers as the Irish will take possession and set to move out. The Marauders already showing some defensive pressure.
They had excellent results out of their pressure they put on the Irish in the first quarter. A little surprise for Myer. They got 13 points out of Dave Stockton. He had a great second quarter. Darren Newton slowed up a little bit. He ended up with 11. And for the Irish, the usual story of Vince Policella being their big scorer at 14 points.
Of course, Newton and Stockton were the offense for the Marauders in the first half. Policella, a big part of the offense for the Irish. They'll look to him to get things going again in the second half. Mark Ventresca continues to struggle, 1 point in the first half.
And nobody else for the Irish. Moscato's got 6. Nobody else for the Irish is really getting the job done for them.
Darren Newton will open the scoring of the second half. He pulls up from just inside the foul line. 32-27.
Myers a much more balanced team, more players involved in the scoring action than the Irish.
Ventresca takes it inside and goes right up and over the rim. Scremin comes away with a loose ball. Stefanovic for 3. That's off the rim. Scremin had a chance at the rebound. Tipped out of bounds by Moscato.
Once again, the ball goes to Myer out of bounds in the Irish end. That's happened repeatedly in this game as the Irish aren't quite ready to get the loose ball. Myer being a little more aggressive there, taking it in, trying to score on that opportunity.
Newton dishes off for Stefanovic. He'll turn around, blocked by Moscato. And a foul called.
For Moscato, I've got him at 3. Irish definitely look lackadaisical and, I don't know, almost a little frustrated out there, Jim. Take a look at that last play. We see Newton taking the ball in and around the hole, going up and then trying to hit Stefanovic inside, almost getting away with it. Ball just goes off Stefanovic out of bounds.
Moscato down low, misses. Upper there with a rebound, and Stefanovic over the back. Upper goes down hard. He's back up on his feet. Foul called on Rich Stefanovic.
Good board by Upper that time. He can get up a long ways, but Todd just hasn't found the scoring hand that Coach Newton or Coach Nero was hoping to get out of him this year.
Back at the other end, Stefanovic hit on 1 of 2. So the Marauders had taken that 3-point lead and built it up to 6.
Upper remains shut out in this ball game so far.
Shutout remains as Scremin pulls down the rebound. 33-27 Myer as Stockton goes to work. Over to Stefanovic, his pass is tipped. Scremin still comes up with it. Back to Stefanovic. He's looking for some help. Stockton drains the shot. It's a 2, 35-27. Stockton now with 15.
4 3 points.
Stockton just a step inside the line as he unloaded that. They count it as a 2. Marcio blows by Sills and Scremin and then blocks himself off the backboard. Newton back the other way. Ventresca called on the block. Head coach Ralph Nero already looking for a timeout. 5:17 remaining in the third quarter. The Irish not yet on the board. Outscored in the second half, 5-0, 35-27 Myer.
And kind of a lazy foul by Mark Ventresca that time, not really getting back and hustling, just sort of reaching on a lazy reach for the ball, picking up the foul.
Take a look as Marcio tries to take it to the hole. No, they didn't hit the backboard. Scremin, of course, did get a piece of it. I thought he hit the bottom of the backboard.
But again, if Scremmins is playing the tough D and you take it right to the hole, then that's a good move by Marcio. It's 50-50 chance he puts it up or Scremmins is going to foul him. I'm a great believer that you got to take the ball to the hole and be aggressive with the basketball. I think the Irish tonight are being far, far too passive. At both ends of the court, they're passive defensively, they're passive offensively. And Myer's just taking it to him, and as this game gets more and more on its way, a couple more baskets unreplied by Notre Dame, this one will be over.
It's an 8-point Myer lead. Sills blows by Ventresca to get in there for two.
Just totally by him, Ventresca standing up all the way. Just no effort whatsoever on the part of Ventresca on defense there.
Ryan Sills' first basket of the game. We mentioned the possibility of some exam rust for these two teams as Rich Stefanovic gets a hand on Policella as he goes by. We mentioned the fact of the exam rust. Myer, of course, has the benefit of they have played since their exams. They finished exams Friday, played an exhibition with a school from Sudbury on Saturday night.
Yeah, but what seems to be happening out here seems to be more attitude than it is, ability right at this stage. We see the Irish playing defense. A lot of people just standing straight up. Myer, on the other hand, is hustling. They're down in much better defensive position. We see Kuhn out there right now, down, putting pressure on the ball. Watch the next time Myer has the ball and see if the Irish are working down on it like that.
Moscato saves it in the offensive zone. Ventresca misses the three, gets his own rebound. He'll dish it off to O'Leary. Over to Policella. He turns it over. Kuhn comes away with a loose ball. Headmans it up to Stefanovic. O'Leary does a good job to strip it away from Stefanovic while he waits for his teammates to get back on defense.
Well, look at the Irish players out there. There's not one person that's down in defense. They're all standing straight up.
Myer doing an excellent job drawing the double team and then dishing off.
Yeah, again, that quickness. They're beating the first man. That's the difference. And they're beating the first man because the first man is standing up. And it's rather easy to go around.
Kuhn almost threw it away, saved by Sills. Newton passed upper. Jump ball signal by the official. The arrow in favor of the Irish. 3:50 remaining in the third.
Irish like to let the first man beat you down the baseline, and then they come out and looking for a trap on it.
Harry Plass off the bench for the Irish. Jeff Moscato will have a rest.
Go, Andy, come on. Andy, come on.
Irish down 10 and backing up. There's
Ventresca blows into the lane and then dishes to Policella for the three. Myer had the ball for a second. The Irish got it back now. Stockton away with a loose ball right down the floor.
Just straight out hustle.
Dave Stockton shows a tremendous amount of hustle. He's now got 17 on the game. It's a 12-point Myer lead. They've outscored the Marauders 9-0 here to start the second half.
It's the other way around.
Check
Jim.
that, outscored the Irish 9-0. The Irish can't get on the board as Harry Plass tries to go up. Kuhn gets all ball.
Plass
Marauders come away with a loose ball.
Last step slow getting the ball up there. He had the position, but Myer defense was able to recover on it and stop him.
Kuhn just inside the three-point stripe. That's off the front of the rim. Paulicello with a rebound. O'Leary for three. That's off the rim. A couple of Marauders touch it before Kuhn comes away with it. Gets it up to Newton, to Stefanovic, into the lane. Off the rim, and Upper comes away with a loose ball. Right over top of Kuhn. Ventresca's pass goes down low to Harry Plass. Harry Plass gets the Irish on the board here in the second half. They still trail by 10, 39-29.
But for the Irish, with only 2 minutes to go in this quarter, that's their first two of this quarter. Not a very productive start.
Stefanovic down low to Sills. Can't get it to go off the glass. It bounces around. Harry Plass comes away with it. Ventresca to Paulicello. He drives on Stefanovic, counts the basket and the foul.
You know, the amazing thing is, as bad as the Irish have played this quarter, a few points they scored, they're still only down 8 with a chance to get it down to 7 and get right back in this ball game before the end of the quarter.
Paulicello converts the three-point play. 39-31 Myer. We'll take a look at that hustle by Dave Stockton. He and Ventresca battle for it. O'Leary had a shot at it, but Stockton comes away. Takes it in for the easy lay-in, even dribbled it off his knee once there.
Good hustle by Stockton.
Pass for Stockton, almost picked off by Marcio, but he'll get called for a foul instead. Only the third Irish foul of the second half. 39-32 Myer. Now Emilio Presti with some good defensive work. Collects himself to get the loose ball. Moscato blocked by Scremin.
Still a good move by Moscato, though, taking at him, being aggressive with the basketball with 47 seconds to go.
Just over 30 seconds left here in the third quarter as the Irish play for last shot. Marcio's pass for Paulicello almost picked off. Paulicello swinging around to the other side.
And we're down to 20 now. Again, the tough part is not to make the turnover and don't make the decision too early.
Paulicello again, swing it over to the other side. Uses a pick set by Marcio. Puts the hook up and over Scremin.
But not a good
can't
shot.
save it. The Marauders will have a chance for a shot. 4.5 left in the third.
Paulicello went in, took a very off-balance, poor shot with 10 seconds to go, sets it up for Myer.
Stefanovic close. And a foul called on Vince Paulicello.
Right at the buzzer.
39-32 A.N. Myer. The Marauders came out to start the second half on a 9-0 run. The Irish come back with a 5-0 run of their own to get back to within 7, 39-32.
But as I said earlier, it's kind of amazing Irish are within 7 because I've got them down. It's only scoring 5 points in this quarter. They were very lackadaisical. About 2 minutes to go in that quarter, it almost looked as if a switch was turned on. They became more aggressive on the D. They became a little more aggressive on the offense. And they started taking it more to Myer, started taking it to the inside. It's when they get in that stand-up passive mode that they've got themselves an awful lot of troubles.
Vince Policella still leads things for the Irish. He's got 17 on the game, 3 of those here in the second half. Harry Plass has 4 on the game, 2 of those here in the second half. That would account for the Irish after halftime. Dave Stockton with 4 in the second. That gives him 17 for the game. They get 2 from Ryan Sills, 2 from Darren Newton, and 1 from Stefanovic.
And that really is not that much better than the Irish did. But Myer had an awful lot more chances. They did an awful lot more misses. They were much more the aggressive, active ball club in that quarter. Now the Irish are going to have to play from behind, a position that they're not really used to. Usually in these Myer-Notre Dame games, it's Myer that's coming from behind.
8 minutes left to play in the game. The Marauders lead it by 7 and open the fourth and final quarter with the ball. Policella tips that pass for Stefanovic out of bounds. Myer will inbound from the side.
But the Irish do seem to be a little more aggressive on defense. They're trying to get out into a deny, out into the lane position. And we see more players getting down, more players hustling now in the D. Been a little tougher man-to-man now than they were earlier in the quarter.
Pass in for Stefanovic. Moscato had a handle on it and then threw it right back to Myer.
But at least they were hustling, trying to get the ball and playing a little D, and he got it that time.
Moscato this time gets it to Policella. He goes up on Stefanovic, but can't get a shot off as Rich got his hand on the ball, knocked it away, and will get called for the foul.
And I don't know how accurate my stats are, Jim. I've got Stefanovic at 4 fouls. If that's true, that's a bit of a problem. And I think the scorekeepers are indicating to the referees that Stefanovic has got 5 fouls. I think so. Coach Cool is kind of questioning that one.
We'll see Moscato picked up the loose ball off the floor. He flipped it up to Policella.
And there's no doubt here that the foul comes. He comes right over the ball. Actually, it's a good foul if it's not your 5th one, because he's making sure that he's not going to get the shot off. But if that's 5, that's a big loss for the Myer team. But as we've said so often, foul shots have got to be made in these basketball games. Normally, Policella is a good foul shooter.
He hits 1 of 2. Give them 18 on the game and cut the Myer lead to 6.
And now it's up to the Irish to maintain this defensive pressure.
O'Leary reaches in on Stockton. It's the 5th Irish foul of the second half. Scremin takes the easy way, lays one in off the glass. His first points of the second half. Policella for 3.
Irish showed good patience that time, worked the ball around, did a little hustling, moving quickly into passing lanes. Much better looking team right now than they were in that 3rd quarter.
Policella's 3 slices the Myer lead to 5. 41-36. Just over 6 minutes left to play. Stockton inside for Hancock. He works it outside to Brown. His shot off the rim, Scremin with a loose ball.
And Tresca's not showing much respect for Hancock out there. He's letting him run around, turning his back on him, giving him an awful lot of latitude.
They're working to Scremin. He turns around on Moscato. Shot doesn't go, but the foul comes on Moscato. And right away, Harry Plass up off the bench. He'll check in, as well as Gus Marcio. Moscato And O'Leary head off for the Irish.
I have Moscato with 4 fouls on that one, but again, you get the feeling that Coach Nero is ready to go all 10 fouls on Scremmins if they have to.
Marcio, Plass, Presti, Policella, and Ventresca on the floor for the Irish. Stockton, Scremin. There's Trevor Brown with an easy lay-in, as well as Matt Hancock. And Darren Newton on the floor for the Marauders.
And Myer maintains her 8-point lead.
Hancock's first points of the game. Policella gets fouled by Brown on his way by.
That's only his first in this ball game.
5th for the Marauders in the second half. Policella hits both. He's now got 28. Check that. 23 on the game. 44-38 Myer. Brown blows through the defense, can't get his shot to fall. Policella had it for a second. Brown got it. Check that. Newton back for the Marauders. Cross court for Stockton.
Once again, the Myer dominating the boards.
Scremin turns around from the baseline and lays one home.
Scremin scoring off of an offensive rebound that the Irish had hands on but couldn't bring down.
Policella for 3. Off the rim, rebound Scremin.
Myer up by 8. We were 4 minutes to go in this game. They're quite willing to take their time with the basketball. And of course, what they're going to do is working around until they can get Scremmins open underneath.
Trevor Brown throws it away. Marcio up to Policella. He misses. Brown with a loose ball.
And that's just a straight case of being wide open, no concentration, being very sloppy in the execution.
Brown and Upper both got a hand on it. Jump ball. Arrow in favor of Notre Dame. Ventresca for 3. That's off the rim. Brown with a rebound.
And once again, we see in a ball game Mark Ventresca getting shut out, not really being even a player in this ball game, either offensively or defensively.
Newton drives the baseline. Policella called for a block.
Here we see Policella, Marcio taking the ball in right now. He hits Policella wide open, and then Policella just suddenly gets very, very casual on this, and just out and out blows it.
A little too strong off the glass. The bounce came out.
I don't know if Newton was there. I don't know if he was looking over his shoulder at Newton or not. It's hard to say. But this one could be the salt right here.
Darren Newton hits both. He's got 15 on the game, and it's a 10-point Myer lead.
And I think at 3:46 we can say this party's over now. Irish are going to have to do some mighty fine three-point shooting to get back in this in a hurry. And there's nothing to indicate that they're capable of doing that right now.
Ventresca drives past Scremin, throws it away. Myer away with a loose ball. Newton has it. Hancock up to Stockton. Stockton blows by Marcio. Dish to Newton for the easy lay-in.
It's no longer a matter of who now, it's just a matter of how many, and Myers up by a dozen now and looking to stretch it.
Moscato, fouled by Scremin. He tried to blow down the lane.
Moscato's had excellent success on that move, getting Scremmins up top with the ball. Almost every time he's been able to take it to the hoop with success, either getting fouled or getting shots off. However, it hasn't been done very often in the ball game. Steve Scremmins, the big man for Myer, number 35, goes out of the ball game, and although he didn't get many points, I've got him at 9. He was a definite factor on the boards in this ball game.
Foul on Ben Tresca, 1-1. As the Marauders in the bonus.
Other than Harry Plass with 2 points, Jim, I don't know, you can check your scorecard, but the only player I've got scoring any points is Vinny Policella in the second half.
Policella has 9, 14 in the first half, 9 in the second for 23. Harry Plass with the only other Irish points of the second half. Myers been fairly balanced in the second half, a little bit more balanced than they were in the first. They've got 6 from Newton, 4 from Stockton, 2 each from Sills and Hancock, 4 from Scremin, and a point from Stefanovic.
And that's not in itself a great half of basketball, but nevertheless it was far more than they needed to beat rather lackadaisical Notre Dame team.
Then Tresca, another foul, this time on Sills.
And although in the standings this is not a significant ball game from a Notre Dame perspective, because in the zone, realistically, Myer is going to finish probably undefeated in the league now. They'll finish first. There's a big game coming up at Centennial with Centennial Notre Dame. That game will probably determine second place, and then the other team, Centennial Notre Dame, will be third, and probably West Lane will be fourth. The significance now of the Centennial Notre Dame game, of course, is where the playoff home game will be.
Second place on the line. Had the Irish won this game, they're pretty much a lock to finish second and host that game between them and Centennial. Now Centennial, a chance to knock them off, finish second, and host the playoff.
And we've seen Centennial, and Centennial's a good basketball team, and they can be very tough in their home court. So there's a strong possibility of an upset waiting in this zone.
Well, having watched both head coach Marty Mancuso's football and basketball teams, you know he doesn't take anything less than 100% from every one of his guys. And the one game that we saw against Lakeshore is Gus Marcio pulls up just inside the three-point line for a deuce. The one game we saw against Lakeshore, that team hustled the entire game. Every player on the floor hustled. They created turnovers. They created scoring opportunities. That's the kind of thing that it doesn't look like Notre Dame can stop, at least the way they're playing tonight.
And, of course, Centennial has O.J. Burnett, and he's just a phenomenal scorer. Sometimes you wonder how he manages to get the ball to go in the hole, but he hits the three. He's got the good speed and everything. They're going to be tough, very tough.
Guys out there give me the player of the game for graphics purposes, but don't announce it yet.
Minute 54 remaining here in the game. It's a 12-point Myer lead, 52-40. The Marauders complete the sweep here this afternoon. The Midgets, of course, winning by 4. The junior game played just before this one. Myer 46-37 over the Irish, and a dozen-point lead in the senior game.
And this, of course, sets us up. We have, I think coming up, Jim, we've got the Ontario Catholic Tournament. That's always a good indicator. Irish are going to really have to pick up their socks if they want to be a factor in that one. I understand St. Matthews from Ottawa is coming down for that. They're ranked number 1, 2, 3 in the province at any given time. Hamilton Cathedral will also be there. They're in the top 5 in the province. That's going to be heavy-duty competition, and I think we're going to have our cameras at that ball game. And then, of course, in a couple weeks, we've got zone playoffs coming up. So we've got a lot of good high school basketball action coming up.
Of course, last year bringing you the zone playoffs as well as SASA. This year, our coverage is going to end at zone with SASA moving up to the Hamilton area.
Right. Now that takes on a greater significance because that now means that only one of Notre Dame or Myer will move out of the zone. And that means that St. Catherine's Collegiate, probably there's looking very good in St. Catharines. So that means all the marbles will be settled in Dundas area.
And it's a shame, too, with the fact that both St. Catherine's and Notre Dame, or Myer or whoever else goes, has a great opportunity of making the championship game. We're not going to see it.
That's right. Yeah, we can't move our cameras and equipment up into the Dundas territory, but that'll be an interesting game. And it's tough for any team, whether it be St. Catherine's, Myer, or Notre Dame. It's tough for any team to move out of the province and take on some of those Toronto teams. Eastern Commerce in Toronto has just got a dynamite team. They got 4 players from the junior national team. They're just destroying everybody. I think the only games they've lost this year happened down in Florida in a Christmas tournament where they were taking on some tough American high school competition. So they're just a dominant team. The rest of the province, we'll see. I mentioned St. Matthews and Hamilton Cathedral. It's tough. It's really tough to go all the way.
Do you think there's the possibility that head coach Larry Miller has finally found the serum for his snake bites? He seems to run into trouble every year at the end of the year. Has he got the solution this year?
Well, if I were making a bet, after we saw the fine job that Collegiate did in the Tribune tournament, I would have to think that coming out of SASA that St. Catherine's Collegiate will finally make it to OFSA. They've got some good parts, and of course led by the big hurt, Dave Phillip. They'll let people know that they're going to be around. Their big job is, can they get out?
Well, head coach Bob Quill of the Myer Marauders, as well as head coach Ralph Nero of the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame, both will try to make sure that he doesn't get out.
And given of these two teams, you have to say Myer is definitely the second strong team, with Notre Dame right now being a poor third, I would say. Myer's got some nice parts because of their big front line. They can be competitive across the province with that good size. And judging with the fine play of young Stockton tonight, it's great to have a guard that's putting up 15, 17 points. That's good stuff.
Well, with the loss of last year's guard duo of Jamie Cool and Clark Wincott, they needed someone to step up this year. And it appears as though that's Dave Stockton to lead the charge. And of course, we talked about the size up front and Chris Kuhn coming off the bench. The Marauders continue to be tough. Moscato down low. Counted and the foul. That cuts the Myer lead back down to 10.
Actually, this game boiled down to really a very weak second quarter and actually a lousy third quarter for Notre Dame, and it was pretty all over. Irish did have an 8-point lead at one time, and then they just sort of went to sleep for the middle parts of the ball game. By the time they woke up, it was over.
Irish led it at one point in the first quarter, 16-8. At the end of the first, it was 16-14. At the half, the Marauders swung it up. They then led by 3, 30-27, and haven't looked back since then. 39-32 at the end of the third, and it's 54-45 with 1:11 remaining.
Actually, this game could have been over in a hurry. Actually, there was excellent play in the first half by Darren Newton. That the only thing really that kept Myer into the ball game, and he had 11 points in the first half, but a lot of them were key points, and really the only points that Myer were able to get early in the ball game to keep the Irish down to 8 points. He sort of held the fort there until Myer got rid of that exam rust, and then after that everybody started chipping in. Stockton came alive, and game was over.
Stockton hits 3 threes in the second half, or late in the first half. Blows the game open. 17 points for Stockton right now. Newton with 16, some balanced scoring from those two. Stefanovic, Scremin, Hancock, Sills all figure into the scoring, but a strong effort all the way down the lineup.
And if I'm Coach Nero, I've got to be really concerned about Mark Van Treska. He did not play well in the final of the Tribune tournament. He did not play well here tonight. Mark played senior ball last year. We need some definite leadership out of him. They've got to get points out of him, and it's just not coming. Policella has been doing his job in this ball game. And although we see Upper scoring there, that's the other problem with the Irish. They've got a player, a veteran player, who's not getting points for them.
Upper picks up his first 2 points of the ball game.
And and he's got to get 10 points. I mean, somewhere between 8 and 10 points. Moscato had a really good ball game tonight. I had him at 9 points. He's going against a much bigger player in Scremmons. When he got Scremmons to the outside, he was able to take it to him. One of the Irish big problems tonight is that they had sort of 1.5 hands on the ball a lot. And a lot of times the ball went off Irish players and out of bounds at the end zone. And they simply have to be a little more aggressive on the boards, really snap down rebounds and make sure that they can account for them.
Timeout Notre Dame, 55-47. The Marauders lead the Irish with 52 seconds left on the clock.
What this boils down now is ineffective practice for Notre Dame in clock management at the end of a ball game when it becomes a close ball game. They're not really working here with any visions that they can win this basketball game. It's really just a matter of practice and clock management.
I've got to wonder right now why Ralph Nero doesn't have Mark Ventresca on the floor, maybe to try and just boost his confidence. Get him the ball, try and get him a couple of shots. He didn't look as bad in the Tribune tournament game as he has tonight. He played well. He was just off the mark. Tonight, he just doesn't seem like he's in the game.
No, he's not mentally in the game. I mean, he's not hustling defensively, and he's straight up an awful lot of the times. He wasn't really even working that hard to get a shot. Here he comes back in the ball game now. It's almost as if his head is in some other gymnasium.
The Irish come away with it. They get it to Ventresca. He dishes to Policella. Nice bank off the glass for Vince Policella. 55-49. Upper fouls Trevor Brown.
I think that was the 5th foul on Upper, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, quietly here, the Irish have cut it down to a 6-point lead. Still some time left on the clock, but now they've got to count on missed foul shots.
And they have to count on missed foul shots. They've got to count on being able to get the rebounds. And like they did the last time, they did a great job. Ventresca, we were just talking about him, did a great job moving the ball down the court, made a good pass. Policella concentrated and made his layup. It's just that we haven't seen that much of that in this game. The key here, of course, is a missed foul shot followed up by a good rebound.
Brown hits the first.
And once again, as they have been all year, Myer has been totally unwilling to cooperate with the Notre Dame plans.
And the second for Brown. Puts it back up to an 8-point lead as Ventresca brings the ball up the floor. Policella for 3. Was up over top of Sills. Stockton fouled by Harry Plass.
Again, not particularly a good decision to fire that ball up, but Policella, I suppose, is figuring nobody else is willing to shoot it up, and if he passes it, it's just going to come back to him and waste valuable time.
Ventresca brought the ball all the way up to the floor, brought it right to the 3-point line, and probably could have launched it from there. Instead, he dishes off to Policella.
Yeah, he's just not looking for a shot.
Well, now it's a 9-point lead with 25.4 seconds left on the clock. Head coach Bob Quill of the Myer Marauders fairly calm in seeing his team up by 9.
For Stockton, that's a perfect night on the foul line.
Newton gets a hand on it. The Marauders turn that loose ball into what will amount to the last play of the game.
And the Irish are going to let the ball
Sills
run out.
is going to let the clock run down. They took too much time getting it to mid-court, so with 2.8 seconds left, they'll give the Irish another chance with the ball.
Notre Dame indicated that they weren't going to challenge that ball at all, so Myer just hung on to it, waiting for the clock to run down, forgetting about the 10-second count.
Ventresca airballs a 3 to end the game. 59-49, the A.N. Myer Marauders knock off the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. A.N. Myer continues to lead the AAA basketball standings here in the Niagara region, undefeated. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame still sit second, but now risk the possibility of finishing third.
Right, and there is, we mentioned way back in the tip-off tournament that we thought we might see Notre Dame and Myer playing 4 times this year. That was the third. Myer now has a 2-1 lead in the series, so to speak. And if it happens again, we'll be looking at Myer and Notre Dame, but that'll be for all the marbles in the zone championship. That's the only way they can meet. In between there, Notre Dame's got a very, very tough Centennial basketball team to get by.
Our FM 101, the Planet player of the game is number 25 for the A.N. Myer Marauders. Darren Newton picks up 17 and was the big difference in the first half. He picked up 11 in the first half and led that comeback to bring the Marauders back into the game.
And even more important, Notre Dame got off to such a great hot start. They were hitting the threes, they were running the break. Newton was the only thing that was holding the fort, and he was scoring for them when they had to have it, and he kept them in it, and Notre Dame got to 8 points. It could well have been 14, 15 points, but Newton did a good job in that early start, so we think that he is the player of the game.
So Darren Newton is the player of the game, brought to you by FM 101, The Planet, Niagara's new rock alternative. Also an honorable mention for his play in today's game should be Dave Stockton. Also finished the game with 17. Played a strong game on the point for the Marauders.
And Coach Cool has got to be really pleased with that, to have Stockton come off and give big points, almost hitting 20 points. I've got him at 13, 15, 17, 18 points is what I have, Jim. Not guaranteeing that figure, but he did get an awful lot of points. Excellent from the foul line. He didn't make turnovers. He delivered the basketball. Great job by young Stockton at the guard.
For the Irish, Vince Policello had a chance to be the player of the game. He picked up 23 points on the afternoon, but it just wasn't enough as they couldn't get any support from anyone else across the board.
No, basketball, quite simply, is a team basketball game. There's 5 players that have to contribute. For Notre Dame, they had Policella and very little else on offense, and that's just not enough.
That'll do it for us here on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week. The A.N. Myer Marauders sweep the Midget, Junior, and Senior Series here with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The Midgets winning up by 4. The Juniors win it by 9, 46-37. And the Senior game, the Marauders knock off the Irish, take the sweep 3-0.
And as we say, we look forward to zone playoffs. I kind of think we're going to see them again in action. 2-1 in the series. It's still anybody's.
Our next action will be next week when we go to the Ontario Catholic High School tournament at Dennis Morris in St. Catharines. For Jack Chambers, myself, Jim Gould, executive producer Mark Bennett, and everyone here on the McLean Hunter High School Game of the Week crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.